Hello and welcome to the Anxious Knitter podcast. My name is Joy and I am the Anxious Knitter. I'm so anxious that when I bought my first pair of sunglasses in about 4 years, I obsessively looked at everyone else wearing sunglasses because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too early in the season for me to wear sunglasses so that I didn't look like a total weirdo. Which is silly because people wear sunglasses in overcast weather, they wear sunglasses in the winter, they wear sunglasses indoors. Why should they care about my sunglasses at the beginning of summer? I don't know, guys. Anyway, you're here for episode 17. My name is Joy, and I'm coming to you from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, where I live with my husband, Luke, and our dog, Opie. This is a podcast mostly about knitting, but occasionally about crochet, sewing, and whatever other crafty thing catches my fancy at the moment. If you are a returning viewer, hello, welcome. It's nice to see you again. I'm happy you're here. It makes me very happy that you come and see me every week. And if you are brand new, just stumbling across my little corner of the internet for the first time, welcome. And I hope you find something that you like. I apologize if it's a little echoey in here today. Luke and I deep cleaned the apartment, well, most of the apartment, and so I feel like without all the garbage on my floor, this room is a little cavernous, so bear with me. Not really anything I can do about it, though. At the moment. I don't know. I don't understand these things fully. I'm just gonna go with what my gut tells me, which is that I don't know what to do. So I hope you guys had a great week this week. And I actually, the last 2 weeks, because I missed filming last week, because instead of filming, I went to the dump with my friend Elena so she could drop off a car battery, some kind of battery that was hazardous, and pick up a green bin. And then we did all sorts of other things. We went shopping and whatever, but that was why I wasn't here last week. I'm sorry, guys. I felt that it was important for me to choose socially, interacting with people in the real world on that particular day. And it was a really great day. And I thought I would have more to tell you about when I came back, but I feel like it's not really that much more than usual. So I don't know what that's about. Well, no, I do. And I'll talk about it later. I don't know why I always say that. I don't know what that's about, but actually I know exactly what it's about because I'm the kind of person who analyzes absolutely everything that I do. But anyway, why don't we start with a dweeb story? Okay? In 2 weeks, of course I have a dweeb story for you. So let's just say it's time for our dweeb story of the week. Yeah. Okay. This is not an intense one, but I thought it was pretty funny. I cracked myself up. Also, I'm on a swivelly chair, and I'm really sorry if that distracts you, but I really enjoy swiveling. My armchair is out in the living room currently. Anyway, so, like I said, Luke and I decided it was time to clean this apartment. It was getting cluttered. My office was a disaster. I didn't want to work in it because there was just so much crap everywhere. So, also, I'm going to tell you right now, this thing that's happening from my cowlick, just really quick digression here, is definitely something that only happens when I'm filming or filming seriously. Because I just tried to film a cover of a song, and my hair was perfect for every failed attempt at that cover. But now that I'm filming my podcast, it's sup, I'm a cowlick. So anyway, we had a bunch of boxes in this closet that had not even been unpacked since we moved 2 years ago, okay? So we were going through the boxes, and in the bottom of one of the boxes was a plastic bag, and I could feel there was something in it. I could not remember for the life of me what was in it. So I just reached right in, just put my hand in, and then went, "Aah!" really loud, because what was in the bag was human hair. My human hair. I am a human, therefore it is human hair. But I had cut my hair, because I used to have long hair, and then I cut it here, and then I cut it here, and then I grew it, and then I got it cut to here. And I had intended to donate it, but I don't think it ended up being quite long enough. But instead of just throwing it away, I kept it in a box. And I reached in and thought that, like, I don't even know. Like, my brain just went, like, dead animal. And no, it was, in fact, my own hair that I've had for, like, 2.5 years, 3 years probably, just sitting in a box, in a bag, in a plastic bag. It was so gross. Luke was like, what happened? I was like, oh, no big deal. Just found locks of my own hair randomly in a bag. It was gross. There is something really jarring about touching hair, like the texture of hair when you're not anticipating hair. I guess it's kind of like when you think that you've ordered a Coke, but they've given you Pepsi, or even worse, your brain thinks Coke, but instead it's a root beer, and you're like, what? Your senses don't know what to do with that information at first. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that really short one. I feel like there was another dweeb story, but did I write it down? No, of course I didn't, because that's what responsible people would do. They would write it down. Not me, apparently. Anyway, yeah, sorry. I don't really have an announcement segment, but you know what? I enjoy saying it, so hear ye, hear ye. Okay, real quick. Today is May 31st, which means tomorrow is June 1st, which means tomorrow is the first day of the Spin for All 2017 that I'm co-hosting with Katie of the Arrow Knits podcast and Taylor of Wool Needles Hands. So if you've been debating whether or not you want to do it, I mean, now is the time to get your fiber, get your spindle ready, because tomorrow we're going for it, guys. We're going hard on that spindle. So I know that I've been kind of like the worst podcaster in the whole world this past couple weeks because I sort of disappeared off of the face of the earth and I did not update my show notes, and I'm so sorry if you were waiting for them. And I also did not open my chatter thread for the Spin for All, but I will do that today. Okay, so there will be a chatter thread there and you can come and post your fiber and your spindle or just talk some stuff about spinning that's going to be happening, and then we can get involved on my thread. I'm sure that Katie and Taylor are way ahead of me on that one, and I'm really sorry, guys, if you were waiting for that, but I will be opening a chatter thread really, really soon. But yeah, so that runs till August 1st, I believe. Please tell me that I am not totally out to lunch here on that date. I'm pretty sure. I'm the worst. Okay. So that's my announcement for you guys. Oh, and I think I am going to go ahead with a double knit along this summer of a brioche along and also a West Knits along. And I'm guessing it's going to start in July. June is not a good time for me to be starting shawls, especially when I already have one on the needles, so I'm thinking July, August will be a good time for that, and that'll get us, our stuff finished in time for fall. So yeah, look forward to that. I will have more concrete information about that probably in the next couple episodes. Also, I should just tell you now, there's very, no, I'm not going to say there's a very good chance. I'm definitely not going to be recording next Wednesday because I will be in theater for Beauty and the Beast, and I will be in the theater all day, so I don't think that I'm going to be recording that week, and I probably won't be doing a lot of knitting, in all honesty, because I'm just going to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Yeah, so let's get into the knitting. I have some knitting to show you. I have some yarn to show you. I have some get nosy questions as well today. And then some stuff from my life, etc. So yeah, let's talk about finished objects. Finished objects. I only have a half object. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I am literally so close, and I will not finish in time for the May sock bash, which is extremely disappointing. With this pair of socks anyway, I might submit my Bates socks, but I did finish one of my Devil's Snare socks by Erica Luter. It's a free pattern, Harry Potter reference. Here, actually, you can see the pattern better on this side. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. It fits me pretty much perfectly. The yarn is, the heels, toes, and cuffs are lichen and lace in the seagrass colorway, 80/20 sock. And the main color of the sock is Knitter Scarlet in the peach pie colorway. And I actually blocked this one. So I soaked it and I wet blocked it a little bit. Because this is foam core and I imagine it would get gross and soggy, I let it mostly dry. And then I, just for the last couple hours, I put it on the sock blocker, and it really softened up and it looks so nice. A little disappointed that I have all this laddering going on, but whatever, it's okay. I'm really gonna survive. And I did a wedge toe because that's what the pattern called for, and I was like, why not try a wedge toe? And I like it. I actually really like it, so I'm probably gonna alternate between rounded toes and wedge toes going forward. Which is funny because I feel like most people, they do a wedge toe first before they do any other kind of toe, but I don't do things in order apparently. Yeah, so here's a close-up. I really love how this variegated yarn almost reads as self-striping. It's so cute. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm pretty close to being done the second one, but I just don't think my hands are going to be able to hold up to knit the rest of it today. So I'm into the 3rd or 4th repeat on the foot out of 7. There you go. Also using my cute little fairy on the moon stitch marker from Kath of Knitter Scarlet. Really hoping I have enough here for the toe. Probably will. Hopefully will. I was really hoping to have it done. I brought it in the car when we went to Toronto this past week, and I only got 20 rows done, so that was a little disappointing. And I really wanted to have my Bates Motel socks completely done for you to see, but of course I did not get that done either. I'm literally knitting the toe right now, so the next time you see me on this screen, I will have those done. I promise you. I'm so sick of them. So tired of knitting that yarn. I just need a break from that yarn, and I will come back to it for my own pair in the fall, because lordy loo, I just can't anymore. Yeah, so that's unfortunately it for my finished objects segment. Real small. I'm a little disappointed with myself, considering I had 2 weeks, but whatever. It's just knitting. It's just knitting. I just have to remind myself that it's not the end of the world. Okay? Sorry, I just got distracted by something because I thought it was a bug. It was not a bug. It was yarn. Anyway, let's move right along, okay? Let's move right along to works in progress. Okay. Got a couple to talk about today. I'm not going to show you my Bates Motel sock because honestly, boring. But I did start another sock. I restarted my pug socks. The Ancient Arts yarns. Ancient Arts in the pug dog colorway. I've been knitting this on, I think, my Chiaogus, and they felt really big and really stiff, and I didn't like the twisted rib cuff, so I decided to try it out on a pair of DPNs. I had a pair of 2.5mm DPNs, high DPNs, I should point out, and I cast on a vanilla sock with 1x1 rib this time, and yeah. I don't know how I feel about the DPNs. I still feel like I'm doing something wrong. The way I'm holding things is wrong. I also find that when I knit on them, I put the sock inside out, and then I knit like this so I don't have any of the, I don't have the sock hanging in front of me, and I have watched so many videos and somehow it's just not clicking. But that being said, I like the fabric this is making better with this particular yarn, and I think they might end up being a bit big. But I think that's okay because, pugs are wrinkly. Opie is wrinkly. These are my Opie socks. And I think in the end I'll be happier with them either way. So wish me luck, guys. I'm kind of dreading the heel, but I'm hoping it's not going to be too different from knitting on the magic loop for the heel. But yeah, I like the needles themselves. The stitches slide really nicely, but I'm just kind of like stressed. I'm always stressed. I don't know. Somebody explain the DPN thing to me. Because I want to be able to do it. I think it looks so cool when people are knitting on DPNs. I was watching the girls from Wet Coast Wools. And, I can't remember their names now all of a sudden. Bernadette and Glenda. Glenda is always knitting her socks on DPNs on the podcast, and it looks so easy when she does it, and does not look that easy when I do it. So anyway, there was that, and then of course, I'll talk about my sizzle shawl last. I have a whip that is not knitting, but spinning. So I wound off what was on my spindle. I thought, I'm so dumb. I really wanted to get to 50 grams, but I was also feeling like my spindle was just really full and it was affecting the spin. So I was like, oh, I'll just take it off, I guess. And so I have 40 grams here. I guess I could technically wet splice it, but I don't know how well that would work. Because it's not been like washed and set. But anyway, it looks really cute as a ball. I was sort of getting into a groove there at the end. I was getting some really nice stretches of even looking yarn, and then of course I'd have to join in new fiber, or after I'd wind it, what I'd spun, and then I'd go to do the next bit, it would get puffy and I could not draft that bit. So that was kind of frustrating. So I do have some thick spots in there and it's very fuzzy. But I'm going to be spinning the remainder of this fiber for the spin along and plying it, hopefully. So here it is. It's my troll hair yarn, as I like to call it. It just looks like troll hair to me. I love troll dolls. But it's got, I don't know. It's really cool. I like just picking it up and like holding it because it's like a real ball of yarn that I made by myself. Oh, Joy, so proud of yourself. All right, let's talk Sizzle Pop, okay? I did not get done as much as I wanted to, partially because I've been really stressed out these past couple weeks with work, and that always, the thing with me and work stress is that it never just stays work stress, right? Like it manifests itself in every other thing that I do. It manifests in the way that I communicate with Luke. It like affects my other job. It affects just like how much I can concentrate on things. It makes me anxious about other things that aren't even related to my job or anything like that. I don't know. It's annoying. So the Sizzle Pop suffered a little bit, but I did get some progress done. I could have gotten done a lot more if I had not been so flippin' miserable for half of the last 2 weeks. Yeah, so here it is. You can see where I had my progress keeper. It's like a really intense cowboy bandana now. And I'll just hold it up in the way that it is shawl shaped. Yes, so this is by Leslie Ann Robinson. If you did not know, she is Knit Graffiti on Instagram, and she has got so much good, like so many cool brioche patterns. Yeah, my yarn is, the main color is Yarn Indulgences in the Cranberry Satin colorway, and 100% merino. And the contrasting color is Meadowcroft Dye Works, Yarn Rehab, Porch Puddle. Were still absolutely stunning to me. I did have an instance where I'm so glad that I had a lifeline because I put in the lifeline, I knit 4 rows, screwed up royally, could not fix it, had to rip back. So was glad I had put it in because otherwise I would have been devastated. I'm always so worried when I pull out for lifelines that I put it in wrong and I'm gonna have to tear out like the whole dang thing. Stressful. But yeah, my little hot air balloon charm that I got I just put the stuff on myself. And yeah, is there anything else I want to say about it? I'm really getting into a flow with it now. I can do all the increases and decreases without looking at the video, which is really nice. It makes the whole thing go by a lot faster. Can I just say, if you've seen the chart for this shawl, like, can anybody actually read that? Oh my gosh, it gives me stress just looking at it. I'm like, I know, I need to use the written instructions for sure, because I'm going to get lost. But yes, so here it is. Looking lovely. I'm knitting it on a 3.25 millimeter needle because I don't have a 3.5 millimeter needle, and my 3.75 millimeter was taken at the time. And yes, and I'm housing that in my little fox bag, my shawl size bag, that Luke made for me, and I love it still, with my little birdie pull tab. Yeah, so that's all my works in progress, cause, yeah, I'm gonna probably not get a ton done on the Sizzle Pop, because that's definitely not going to be theater knitting for me. Not theater in the sense of knitting while I'm watching the show, because I can't do that. But like knitting in the downtimes, I don't think that will be a good idea. There's always like 4 million kids asking me questions, so it needs to definitely be like a sock. And I'm gonna be casting on a new sock soon, once I finish my dad's sock. So I will have brand new knitting for the theater. Yeah, so let's move along to stuff I bought for knitting. Okay. Those are my, like, Backstreet Boys hands. I don't know, whenever I do them, like, Backstreet Boys. I did buy one thing for knitting. It was sort of an unexpected purchase, but I'm really happy I made it. So, on Monday, Luke and I went to Toronto. We spent the day in Toronto. You may have seen on Instagram. We had bought tickets for a concert of Frightened Rabbit. Okay, the sun keeps going in and out behind the clouds. There's a tree in front of me, and it keeps changing my light. And I'm really sorry if that's distracting for you. Anyway, so this, I'm just going to tell you a brief story about the day. So, our itinerary was drop Opie off at the kennel because he was going to be staying overnight, and then go see a travel agent about booking our Disney trip, and then we were going to go thrifting in Toronto, and then we were going to go to the ROM, and then the Royal Ontario Museum, and then we were going to go to the concert. And we went to the travel agent, and the address they list on the website is just their house, and it didn't even have a sign out in front of it or anything. And so I was like, I'm not knocking on these people's door at like 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. I think that's probably weird, and I think maybe they don't actually have a physical office. So we decided to just go, and we would submit our quote, request for a quote online, like they have on their website. So that meant that we had time to fill when we got to Toronto. Okay, so we went to Toronto. We went thrifting. Then I was like, let's see how close a yarn store is. See where I'm going with this? There was one pretty close, and it was in beautiful High Park, that sort of area, and it's called the Knit Cafe. And I remember them at the Knitter's Frolic because they had a ton of Brooklyn tweed. And you know, here's the thing. Now that I've like actually taken the time to touch Brooklyn tweed and like really look at it, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand the hype around it because it's so scratchy. Does it soften up? But I can't imagine knitting a whole sweater if it's going to be like giving you a rope burn on your finger. Speaking, Joy, those are words. So I don't know. I don't get it. So I had thought maybe I would get some Brooklyn tweed when I was there, and then I was squishing it all and I didn't really like it. But they had Zen Garden there, which I bought a couple skeins of Zen Garden, 3 skeins. But this is a different base. This is their super fine fingering, 90% super fine, super wash merino, and 10% nylon, and 400 yards. And it's called Kind Hearted. Okay, I'm confused because it says Kind Hearted, handwritten. Then it says Splatter, coordinates with Moon Purple Terracotta. I think it's called Kind Hearted Splatter, maybe. Anyway, this is it. I'd originally had a skein of Lichen and Lace 80/20 sock in my hand, Pressed Flowers, which is a colorway I've been looking for, I've been wanting, but Luke said, that looks like yarn that you would buy 1,000 times. This looks like something you wouldn't necessarily go for, and you want to have variety in your stash. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I picked this up, and it's really lovely. It's cream with navy speckles and rusty orange, which I love, and some hot pink, and I think it'll be lovely in a shawl. I have a confession to make. I'm thinking about knitting a fade, like a find your fade. Something I never thought I would do. But I'm at that point now where I have all these shawls planned, and I know that not all of them, like the exploration station, some of them you use 50 grams or less, maybe not less, but like 50 grams of your skein, so you're still going to have quite a bit left over, and I want to make sure that I'm using that. So I'm thinking about doing a fade that's literally made up of, the majority of it is made up out of scraps. So this may become part of that hypothetical fade. But I love it. It's very soft, and it was a lovely little shop. And yeah, if you're ever in Toronto, there's a ton of yarn shops in Toronto, but it's really sweet. And that little, I don't know if they would call it a downtown strip, but it's so nice and just lovely to walk through. And I was like, oh, Luke, why don't we live here? So sad. But anyway, yes, that's it for stuff I bought for knitting. I feel like I'm actually making really good time today. I don't feel super chatty, but I don't know. I have moods, right? Everybody has moods. So I'm going to do my Get Nosy thread. Not Get Nosy thread, Get Nosy segment, alright? So, get ready to get nosy. Is that dumb? Kind of liked it though. I have just a couple things. One thing from the thread, one thing from a message somebody sent me. Let me just get up the information. Okay, so I had a question in the Get Nosy thread in the Ravelry group from Forget About It. Forget about it. Forget it. Forget about it. Is that, did I get the pun? If that's what it is, I love that. Congratulations on an amazing handle. Anyway, this is what she wrote. My question, which is of course totally awkward, do you want to be friends? If it sweetens the deal any, my husband and I are also theater peeps, and I too love sushi and ghosts. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. The answer is yes. I do want to be your friend. Cool. Was that awkward? Okay. Her real question. What was your favorite part of Peter Rabbit? Did you bring knitting to rehearsal? I had a director who probably would have killed me for that, and one who probably wouldn't have noticed at all. Okay, so funny question. Because I didn't bring knitting to rehearsal, only because I was in every scene in that show, so I never really had downtime. But I could have if I did, because my the playwright... Okay, so the person who wrote the show, who ended up being in the second run of the show, she is one of the people who helped teach me to knit. She taught me how to purl, and she's one of the reasons why I decided to get into knitting, because when she directed Charlotte's Web last year, she would always have knitting with her, and I would always be watching her knitting like socks and stuff and being like, oh, I want to learn how to do that. And she's like, oh, I'll teach you. And she took me to my first knit night. And her husband was a director for Peter Rabbit, so he wouldn't have cared, I don't think, as long as I was getting the work done. I did bring my knitting to the show week because there was quite a bit of downtime, and so like at lunchtime or before a show or at whatever, I would have my knitting with me and I'd be working on a sock, and of course, and nobody minded at all. I do like to bring my knitting to my theater work. It's kind of like I'm being a rebel by doing it because of reasons that I probably shouldn't go into because it kind of feels like bad-mouthing, but I won't say anything, but I bring it anyway. I don't care. It's just knitting, right? Anyway. And my favorite part of Peter Rabbit. Okay, I'm going to answer this in two different ways. So my favorite part of being in Peter Rabbit was playing Jemima Puddle Duck, and it was the accent. I did like a Southern Belle accent, and everything she did, she led with her butt, and so that was really fun and very different from characters that I generally play. So being in it, I always looked forward to doing that scene. It was my original casting, and then the girl who was playing Peter Rabbit originally had to drop out, and so I filled in. I took over the role of Peter Rabbit, which was not my favorite, but it was a lot of kids' favorite. But my favorite part of being a part of Peter Rabbit is whoops, sorry guys. I'm just gonna, because it's just gonna get. When my friends message me, they're sending me 20 messages. They're not sending me one. Sorry. Is the rehearsal. I love rehearsals. I love the jokes that kind of come out, the ad-libbing that happens, and just watching like the choices that your castmates make. This was a very small cast. It was only 6 people. And so you really get to know people well. And I've done a number of shows with a lot of these people, and so it's a lot of fun. And I love doing the promo stuff. So like we do like, the stuff at Steckley Farm where we go and we do scavenger hunts and face painting, and we go to the library and we play games and read Beatrix Potter and stuff like that. Like I really enjoy that part of it. But yeah, so that's my answer to that question. I hope that was thorough enough. And then I just want to make sure I have her name. Knitting Detective, who is Stephanie. As to have I missed it, did you tell about your Instagram handle, Rhineland Story? I totally forgot that I had mentioned that there was a story behind the Instagram handle, which is why I wasn't too keen. Like, I was thinking about changing it to something a little more recognizable in terms of the Anxious Knitter, but no, I never explained it, so I will explain it now. So when I think I mentioned this last time, when I was 18, my grandmother died. She was German on my mother's side. A very interesting and complicated woman with very complicated relationships and a very interesting life. I'm just gonna, like, it's kind of, I mean, it's gonna sound terrible, but it's the honest truth. She did not particularly favor my brothers because she really, I think, struggled with men. She didn't like men very much, for reasons that I won't get into. But she really liked me because I was a girl. And I used to spend a lot of time, she used to live in the lower half of our house, so I used to spend a lot of time down there. And she had a very interesting life in Germany. She grew up, she was in her late teens during the Second World War. And I don't know, I've always, like, I look a lot like her. Maybe I'll insert a photo. Hold on, let me get... I guess I don't really have to insert a photo. I can just show you this photo. I'm pretty sure I have one in here. Here, this is what I was looking for. So, this is my grandmother. These photos were by my grandfather, I believe, because he was a photographer. So you can see I share a lot of her features. And I've always been absolutely fascinated by her. She grew up in Cologne in Germany. And she used to go, her and my grandfather used to go kayaking on the Rhine and camping on the Rhine with this group. And so when she passed away, I had a lot of very complicated feelings about it. And I wrote a lot of poetry because I was a teenager. And then I just started, like, a lot of them were about her. They were about her experiences. They were dedicated to her, just stuff like that. I had a very, I don't know, she sort of comes in and out of a lot of the things in my life. Her favorite flower was Lily of the Valley, and so when I got married, she obviously wasn't there, but I wore a Lily of the Valley headpiece. I had lace that I found in her sewing drawer wrapped around my bouquet, stuff like that. And so I think I wrote a poem called A Rhineland Story, and I just started using it as my handle pretty much everywhere, on a lot of poetry sites and stuff like that, and then on Instagram. And so part of me still kind of wants to change my handle to something that is a little more instantly recognizable, but at the same time, I don't know, it feels kind of like taboo to change it, because I did start using that for such a specific reason, right? Sorry. Yeah, so that's basically it. Her name was Erna Henrietta Maria Moos. Veck was her maiden name, though. And, yeah, so I've always wanted to go to Germany, to the Rhine, but just hasn't happened yet. Maybe someday. I think that explains everything. So, I'm going to say, if you only came for the knitting stuff, then I'm sorry you had to sit through Get Nosy. I forgot to give you the thing before. But if that's all you came for, then yeah, that's fine. I hope you have a great week, and I don't know, things are good for you, and I will see you next time. If not, I have one last segment, and that is my life, etc. My life, etc. This is the Broadway episode. It's not. Okay, a couple things to share with you. See, oh my god, sorry, the swivel, but I feel so like, hey, super cash on the swivel. Sorry if that is, like, so annoying to everybody. Yes, so a couple things happened this past couple weeks. My sister-in-law had her second baby. Yes, it is a girl. As far as I know, she is healthy, and her name is Cassandra. So I am an auntie times 2 now. We haven't had a chance to go and see the baby because it came pretty late yesterday, I think, like in the evening, and they live a few hours away, so it's not like I can just jump down to the local hospital and say hi. Yeah, so that's exciting. I think everybody is doing well, as far as I know. I haven't heard otherwise, so I think it's a pretty safe assumption. Yeah, so I had that day in Toronto. We went to see Frightened Rabbit, which is a band from Scotland. They're one of our favorite bands. Oh my gosh, it was just such a great show, and we had, like, it was so funny because sorry, I'm waiting for a package. False alarm. Yeah, so they had one Canadian date, and it was in Toronto, and it was on Monday of all days, but we snagged tickets up on the balcony, so we had seats, because, like, we're like old people now, and we need to sit down. We can't stand. Also, standing room is fine for people like Luke who are over 6 feet tall, but I am 5'2", and that means that I can't see anything on the stage. I mostly am just looking at people's sweaty backs. So I was glad we were able to get a seat in the balcony, and it was a really cute small venue, so it's not like it was a bad seat at all. It was funny though, the tickets at 7 p.m. We left the ROM at 6. And we drove, the parking lot was 3 kilometers down the road, so not very far at all. Okay, this is making me look like I have, like, male pattern baldness today. Okay. 3 kilometers down the road, and it turns out there was a light out on Bloor, and we spent about an hour driving down the road 3 kilometers in a straight line to get to this parking lot, which was so stressful because we're like, oh my gosh, like, we want to get merch, like, how are we gonna, like, we're gonna be late, and oh my gosh, it's so bad, and we're like stressing out. And then we get there with like 10 minutes to spare, so not quite an hour driving, but 10 minutes to spare, and turns out they weren't opening the doors until 7, so we were waiting outside anyway. And then I almost didn't get in because it was 19 plus, and which I'm 27, and I don't have a driver's license, and I keep meaning to get one of the, like, photo cards that, like, you can use in place of a driver's license, and I didn't have one, but I have a drinking card and a health card with my photo on it, and he didn't look like he wanted to accept my drinking card, which, okay, fair enough. I got it when I was 19, and I had long, dyed red hair and no glasses on in the picture, so I can see why this face did not exactly match the face on the picture, but I also had a health card with my photo and stuff on it, so he ended up accepting that and letting me in, and we didn't drink anyway, so I don't know what the big deal is, but whatever. It's a concert. I don't know. I don't like the 19 plus. Oh, did you see Opie run by? Yeah, anyways, we got our t-shirts, and we grabbed our seats, and there was an opening band anyway, so our band didn't even start until, 9:15? So we had plenty of time to get there. But the opening band was pretty good, and it was just nice to relax. We'd been on our feet all day, walking around Toronto and the ROM. I love the ROM. We've been to the ROM a lot, probably like 4 times, which, I mean, is a lot. And I've been even more than that because I used to go almost every year with school. So many good memories, though. We went to see their blue whale exhibit, and that was really, really cool. I love whales. And I was specifically kind of I was taking pictures to, I was looking for color palettes for the super secret project that Luke and I have been working on, but I guess I can kind of talk about it. And if you ducked out, then sorry, you're gonna miss out. I should have put this in stuff I bought for knitting, but so Luke and I are starting a store, probably the end of the summer, depending on how quickly things get moving. Otherwise, early fall, and it is going to be called Cabinet of Curios, Hand-Dyed Yarns and Accessories. Spoilers. And it's going to be yarn, stitch markers, and Luke's bags. And so we picked up some fabric for his bag. So I'll show you that, and then I'll continue on the thing. But here's a little sneak peek. I was going to wait until he had sewn at least one of them, but whatever. So yes. We have some mushrooms, some toadstools. This is one of my favorites. Sort of fun Victoriana sort of things. And this one, which is so relevant. And sort of the idea of this shop is everything in the store is going to be, crinkle, is going to be relevant to this name, Cabinet of Curios. And that sort of like old-fashioned, the original museum. Everything is a curiosity. Everything is sort of fun and strange and whatever. And that's just a little sneak peek. So I was walking around the ROM and I was looking for color palettes and objects. So I was looking a lot at their like specimens that they had set up in like drawers and cabinets and minerals and stuff like that, and pieces of art that I found really cool. just to sort of be drawing some ideas from. I feel like we've been there so many times now that, like, I want to go every time with a different specific thought in my mind, which is, like, next time I thought it would be fun for us to bring our sketchbooks and just draw, because we haven't done that in a long time. I know I haven't done that since, like, high school, I don't think. Yeah, so it was a really fun day, and it closed really nicely with that, with the concert, and we came home and we immediately ordered the vinyl, because it was $10 cheaper online than it was to buy there, so kind of had to go that route. But that's what I'm waiting for, actually. Amazon ships really fast here. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but, like, even when you get, like, we just get the basic free shipping when you've spent your minimum amount, and it comes so fast. Yeah, and that was really good. It was a great day, and yeah, anything else? I've been just really stressed, I don't know, with work. I know I talked about that, but it just makes me off, and then I feel off when I talk to people. But I'll be done my whole season after next Saturday, and I'm very excited about it. And I will talk more about that and why I'm so excited when it's done, I think. I will leave you with a bit of a cliffhanger on the subject of my job. Yeah, I think that is pretty much it. So I totally forgot there was actually one more thing that I wanted to mention. I know I've mentioned the book before, but I just got the 4th draft of my book printed, and I just wanted to show you because it looks so cool to see it bound up. I got it printed at lulu.com, which, if you are a writer, I really suggest that you print out your work, whether that's like this in book format or just on, 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. It really just solidifies the accomplishment. It really does. Like, you really can see, wow, this is how many words that I wrote. This is a whole story. I did this. But yeah, so yeah, here it is. I have it going out to some people for editing, and I'm hopefully going to be sending this out to literary agents in the next couple months. But it is called, currently, Where the Skeleton Sleeps, and yeah, I'm really stoked about it. I just, like, I started working on this book in 2013, and it has taken 4 years. I've written other things in the meantime, but it has taken 4 years for the story to get to exactly where I want it to be. And yeah, it feels really good to hold it in my hands. Even if it never gets published, I know that I wrote the story that I wanted to write, and I know that I have this in my hands. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Yeah, the delivery guy did come. But yeah, I hope at some point, maybe in the next year or so, I'll have more exciting news about the book. But for now, here it is. Yeah. If you would like to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on Ravelry as dabblejoy. And if you would like to find me on Instagram, where I'm the most active, and honestly it's the only social media where I'm active, you can find me as Rhineland Story. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, a wonderful weekend. I hope things just look up for you and you have wonderful weather and you knit on projects that you love, and just take some time for yourself if you've been having a stressy time like I have. And just know that I'm sending all the positive vibes out there for you. So yeah, happy knitting, happy living, over and out.